ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हुकुम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Wonderful. Thank you all for joining in today. We are discussing chapter 9 and we are supposed to start from text 24. So last week we discussed about people who are devata worship, people who are demigod worship. Krishna says, even though apparently looks like they are worshipping different devatas, but they are ultimately worshipping me. So that's where we left off. Now we are at text 24. Aham hi sarva yajnanam
अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां
bhokta cha prabhureva cha
Bhokta cha prabhurev cha
भोक्तव्येव च
natu mam abhijananti
na tu ma
ज्ञातु
bijananti
tat
जानान्ति
tatvenatas chavanti te.
tatte nata chavanti te.
तत्ते
Beautiful. Krishna says, I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. You know, what is the cause of suffering in the material? Why do we suffer? Any idea?
trying to enjoy separately.
Correct. We are trying to be an enjoyer. It is like I was just hearing about a beautiful pastime. You see, little birds also fly. And then hawk also flies. What is the difference? Have you ever noticed what is the difference between a little bird flying and a hawk flying?
So hawk can fly higher, Prabhu, but still the hawk can see clearly
Ah,
what's on the Earth's surface. But
beautiful, beautiful.
whereas little bird can't. I mean, it has some extent.
Correct. Very wonderful comparison. Yes. Anything else?
Yeah, the little bird can become an easy prey for the hawk.
Mm, okay. Yeah. Very good. That's a very insightful point. Anything else?
Bird's point of view, I'm just saying.
And little bird are like very close, probably. If you see, even everywhere, the plants, even in the window, but we can't see hawk. Like no, hawk is like no distance. Whenever it is needed, it will come down and grab it and go up again.
Very good. Yes, wonderful. So you brought a wonderful point. So first and foremost thing, the hawk flies at much higher level. So actually, I've been seeing hawks for past few days in the sky. I sit out and try to see the nature. So hawk definitely flies really high in the sky. The little birds doesn't can't fly at that height. The second difference we talked about, it is easily visible. The hawk is not easily visible. The third point we talked about is, um, what was the third point, Mataji? You said I forgot.
Oh, this little one can become a prey of the.
Ah, correct. Can be easily be taken control by someone else, right? The hawk is pretty far. The another difference is the smaller bird has to fly their wings really, really fast to fly. Like you see the hummingbird, you can't see the wings of a hummingbird. I don't fortunately in the summertime you can notice all these things. You don't get to see that often. So their wings are pretty much not visible only. She flies at such a high speed, hummingbird, right? But hawk, you see, if you see hawk, most of the time you just see like this guy is going like that. Have you seen it? You hardly see him doing flapping, and then most of the time you just see this guy just going like this,
Yeah,
right?
bro.
The
Yeah.
smaller bird has to struggle a lot. The hawk doesn't have to struggle. Now, why I'm giving that analogy, and then another example I'll tell you. When there is a strong wind comes, right? What the hawk does, if he's flying like that, so based on the direction the air is coming from, it will just put one wing up and one wing down. That is how he balances.
Yeah, bro.
Little birds can't do that balancing so much. They get somehow drifted away by the air sometimes. I've seen crows, at least back in India, I've seen when crows flying and there is a huge wind, they somehow get carried away with the wind. But you don't see that with the hawk. That guy just understand and he balances out. And again, this is an analogy, right? We are not saying this is an exact thing, right? We are like little birds trying to enjoy the material world. And what happens is all these things which we talked about. First and foremost thing, to enjoy, we have to struggle a lot. Right? For an example, Naresh Prabhu decides that I want the Tesla's topmost model.
Yeah,
Okay.
bro.
Or whatever is the best car. I just forgot,
Yeah,
lost track of it. So I'll just put Tesla.
bro,
Right.
you're giving right example, bro. That is true.
Uh, and that car's price is 500K.
Oh my god.
Now Naresh Prabhu say, I really want it. I like to ride the car. I like the electric part, and then it just zoom, just goes like that. I want that. So Naresh Prabhu says, okay, I have one job now. Let me grab two more jobs. I don't have so much of work. And he grabs two more jobs. And he earns 500K. And then he wants to buy the car. Why I share that example? It's not about Naresh Prabhu. I'm just picking up the example here. So please don't take me wrong.
No, bro. I can
That's good.
understand, bro. Yeah.
Sounds good, bro.
So we
Yeah.
are
Picking
exactly
up.
like those little birds. We try to enjoy, but we have to flap our wings really hard to actually achieve something. Correct? This is just one mundane example. But the hawk doesn't have to struggle because he is at the higher dimension. So many points to learn from that. When our consciousness is at higher level, the problems which the smaller bird has to face, the hawk doesn't have to face. It's not that the storm doesn't come for hawk, the storm also comes for the hawk, but that guy knows how to balance. We don't know. As a small bird, we don't know. Like you gave an example about the small birds can be easily preyed by someone, right? Why? Because they fly at the lower dimension, right? They are smaller, but Krishna is very supreme, right? So when we try to enjoy when we are not supposed to be enjoying, I'm reminding myself, we are supposed to be enjoyed by Krishna. But what do? We compete with Krishna. I want to enjoy. and that is the cause of suffering. So Krishna is clarifying, don't try to be an enjoyer. I am the only enjoyer. He doesn't say I am the enjoyer. Krishna says I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, who do not recognize my transcendental nature fall down. That is why we suffer. That is why we get into the cycle of birth and death. Why? Because I want to be the enjoyer. So now the question is, if I've been given a nice lasagna and a perfect Italian pizza, am I not supposed to enjoy? What is your take on that? Here Krishna says, I'm the only enjoyer, so I'm not going to eat pizza from today. I'm not going to think about any cars from today. I'm not going to think about a big house. What does that mean? Can you explain me how do we apply that practically? That when I have the best dish I like in front of me, how do I apply that I'm not the enjoyer? Anyone?
You can offer it and then enjoy it.
Correct.
And so that
One
becomes,
time, very good point. One time, Srila Prabhupada, it was Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, and devotees made some three-floor cakes, like three layers cake.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada cut the cake, and Prabhupada took a little piece of it. And then he says, now give it to all the devotees. So this devotee was standing next to Srila Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, isn't it servant also enjoy like the same level as master? Prabhupada said servants enjoy more than the master. How servant is enjoying more than the master? Because if the servant is giving pleasure to the master, master will offer him much more than the servant can eat. Am I making sense so far? Yes?
Yes, bro.
That's what Mataji was just talking about. Whatever we get when that is offered to Krishna, it gives us more enjoyment. Right? Some one thing which I want to share, little off this verse, but very important. We all should not have to learn the quality of renunciation. What is the renunciation means? That gives you such a higher taste. Now Ekadashi is coming. Next Tuesday is Ekadashi.
Nirjala Ekadasi,
Huh?
right?
Huh?
Nirjala Ekadasi, one.
Nirjala Ekadashi. Once in a year, Bhima was performing. Bhima couldn't do any Ekadashi. He needs food. Without food, he can't think about it. So he said, Krishna, he told to Krishna, Krishna, I can't offer. So he said, okay. In the whole year, if you do one Nirjala Ekadashi, it is equivalent of all Ekadashis. So you do that Ekadashi. So Tuesday, not coming Tuesday, next Tuesday, is Nirjala Ekadashi. And I highly recommend that night or that day, we literally do renounce everything. Of course, we don't have anything to renounce, but basically, we do not think about food and we try to even be away from water. You can have the water 1 hour 40 minutes before the sunrise. And then after that, you just fast, and you, whenever is the next Parna time on Wednesday, at that time, you basically finish the fast by drinking water. We all should develop the quality of renunciation, whether these are smaller renunciation in terms of the quantity of food I'm eating, whether it is I like something to eat a lot, like I like sweets, so taking that renunciation that I will not eat sweets today or something like that, that really is very wonderful quality to develop, that helps us to grow in Krishna consciousness. Sorry, I don't know how it came, but I just want to share. So Prabhupada is saying here it is clearly stated that there are many type of yajna performances recommended in the Vedic literature, but actually all of them are meant for satisfying the Supreme Lord. Yajna means Vishnu. In the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that one should only work for satisfying Yajna or Vishnu. Very important. One should only. See, some adjectives are extremely important in any line. Here it is being spoken that only work for satisfying Vishnu. This is the another thing which we need to be mindful about. Why do we suffer? Because we have our agenda. Why I want to offer pizza to Krishna? Because I want to eat, right? Why I want well, I will say, oh, I need the topmost model of, say, Tesla. Why I need? Oh, I want to offer to Krishna. If some devotees come, I'll drive. No, actually, the agenda behind it, I want to drive. I want to experience the bliss. I am the enjoy. Here, it's important that we should only work for satisfying Vishnu. One question we should ask before doing anything: is it favorable to Krishna or is it unfavorable to Krishna? What is that? What is the question we ask? Whatever I'm doing, is it favorable for Krishna consciousness or it is not non-favorable for Krishna consciousness? You will get the answer right away. Very easy distinction. Even a child could define what I should do, what I shouldn't do. But in spite of knowing, we want to do things which are not favorable to Krishna, right? That is one thing we need to. And what is a discrimination? How do I know whether I'm spiritually going to the higher dimensions or not, whether I'm spiritually growing or not? Is how many times I say no to the things which are unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. Am I making sense so far? And do one exercise at the when you go to the sleep, you write down how many times I ask this question: what is favorable to Krishna consciousness and what is not favorable to Krishna consciousness, and how many times I said yes to not favorable Krishna consciousness, and how many times I said yes to favorable to Krishna. Or to make it simple, how many times I said yes to things which are not favorable in Krishna consciousness. So you maintain, say today is November 22. You make a note in the diary. This is what I did. November 23rd, you make a note. Over the time, the list should decrease. The number of entries in your book should decrease. That is the barometer. That is actually the thermometer of our Krishna consciousness. Here Prabhupada is saying the perfectional form of human civilization known as Varnashram Dharma is specially meant for satisfying Vishnu. Therefore, Krishna says in this verse, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices because I am the supreme master. Krishna is saying. Less intelligent person, however, without knowing this fact, worship demigod for temporary benefit. Therefore, they fall down to material existence and do not achieve the desired goal of life. It may apparently look like when I go to Devtas, my short-term goals are fulfilled. However, they cannot give us liberation. When Hiranyakashipu did a highest tapasya, and then he approached Lord Brahma. When Lord Brahma came, he said, "What do you want?" He said, "I want immortality." I'm sorry, I can't offer you that. I myself is not immortal. How can I offer you something which is not possible even for me? Who is Brahma? If you see in the material planet, and we have seen that picture many times, the topmost planet in the material world is Brahmaloka, where Lord Brahma resides. And he himself is saying, I cannot offer you immortality. Similar thing, we go to these devatas, though they have limited things to offer, but we go to them not just from that perspective, but we basically ignore Krishna and we go to devatas. Sometimes it's okay when things are not going completely in a right direction, like Nayan Sundari's health wasn't that great, right? So I was praying to devatas also to record. So what is the intention? That when the person comes back, he should be able to practice bhakti. Krishna should, the devata should arrange in such a way so that she is able to practice bhakti. That is what here is being created. Therefore, they fall down to material existence. If, however, anyone has any material desire to be fulfilled, he had better pray for it to the Supreme Lord. Although that is not pure devotion, that's okay. We should not artificially try to put ourselves on the platform where we do not belong. It's okay to slowly grow. But that does not mean over the year I'm just stuck with 1, 2 round, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, or anything like that. We need to think about growth. Like we talked about, we always, bhakti means we swim against the current. If I stand still, I'll be thrown away by the current. I have to continuously swim and I have to struggle against the current. Then only I'll be able to cross over. Right? Any questions or comments in this verse?
Mhm.
Who else is there? Sorry, it doesn't show the name. Who else just joined other than Naresh Prabhu and Kala Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandrat Pranam.
Ah, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for joining and just
That's it.
making sure. Thank you. We are reading from 9.25.
Okay.
Yanti deva vrata devan
Yanti deva vrata devan.
pitran yanti pitra vrataha
Pitranyantri pitravataha.
bhutani yanti bhutejya
Bhutani yanti bhutejya.
yanti madhyajinopi mam.
Yeah.
Yanti madhya jinopimam.
Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigod. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestor. Those who worship ghost and spirit will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. In before coming to Krishna consciousness, I would hear this line in Hindi pretty common. सब रास्ते भगवान के पास जाते हैं. Whether you take a left turn, whether you take a right turn, whether you take a straight turn, everything will end up to the same destination. A very neophyte way of putting the things in detail. If I'm taking the flight to New York, I cannot reach to San Francisco. I will reach to New York only, right? Or if I want to go to San Francisco, I will not take the flight to New York. So here, when one worships devatas, he can't expect that he can go to the spiritual world. Sorry, you can't. Right? So we need to understand what we do will decide our destination. If I'm thinking to enjoy my life in this material world and engaging in the activities which involves dealing with the material body, I'll end up getting another body. We are ready for the another womb because I like to enjoy my body. I like to enjoy doing activities which are related to the body. I was I was taking my daughter to volleyball class, and then I would sit out. Um, so there a lot of old people will come, and I don't know what is that game because I didn't go inside, so I didn't know what game is that. But they have a small racket, and they would give $4 to this guy to get the ball and then go inside and play. And interestingly, all these guys were old. That's what I noticed. Not that some youngsters are coming and playing. I was thinking, whole life we've been just playing with balls. When we were small, we were playing with the plastic ball. When we grew up, when then we were dealing with tennis ball. Then when we grew up, become youngsters, now earning the money and now you're playing with the money as a ball. And then when you get little old, you play with the ball which is a medical device. And when you become old, rather than the holding the lotus feet of Krishna, you again want to play with the ball. So what happens at the end of the life? Welcome and start from another childhood playing with the ball. When we try to do activities which are pertaining to the body, They will make sure we will never get out of body consciousness, and we'll prepare our body for another birth and death. That is why we need to be mindful about what is time management. If you ask me, time management is how do I manage my time in such a way so that I can do more Krishna consciousness. Sunday, we were sitting after the Sunday feast, we were sitting for prasad. So, this is one devotee sharing about another devotee's schedule. This person whose schedule he is sharing, very interestingly, he was our interviewer when we got initiated. So we used to have interview um, taken by very senior devotees. Whoever wants to go for initiation, they want to understand whether you are philosophically clear or no. So he was talking about this devotee schedule, and I'll tell you, you'll be surprised. He starts his day at 2:30 or 3 a.m. every day. He reads 1.5 hours Srimad Bhagavatam. He hears Prabhupada's class every day. Until 4:30, he's preparing his consciousness, and at 4:30 goes to the temple, attends the full morning program. What is a full morning program? 4:30 to 5:15 or to 5:30, all artis, chanting for 2 hours, Prabhupada Arti, Darshan Arti, first Darshan Arti, Prabhupada Arti, Srimad Bhagavatam class, and then he'll have breakfast. Every day. Right? Sometimes we struggle to even come for Sunday feast. Once a week. We can't make it. And then he goes, he is actually a dean of a college. Very high position. So there also during the lunchtime he takes a break and he reads for 1 hour. Srimad Bhagavatam. Not he is trying to see what deals are going on. No. And evening he comes back and he sleeps around 8:39 every day. That is his schedule. Now, if you read the schedule, it is clearly showing I'm giving, I'm, I'm, I'm giving focus to Krishna. I'm trying to give best to Krishna. What is Krishna going to offer to that devotee? He's going to offer him the best thing. Why? Because he's trying to reduce the bodily need and he's trying to focus on spiritual life. I'll be very honest. He made my day and started making me contemplate how do I design my schedule in such a way that I can be more Krishna conscious. And when we hear such examples, our focus should be, at least I'm trying to remind myself, how can I actually be more and more Krishna conscious and less body conscious? I don't know if I shared a very interesting story or interesting analogy which I heard. The analogy is that Krishna has two energies, internal energy and external energy, right? And we are in between, we are marginal energy. So, internal and external energy, they both have a power to expand by themselves. What does that mean? The meaning is if I spend time in the internal energy will expand. What is internal energy? I'm doing more and more Krishna conscious activities. I want to chant more. I want to read more. I want to hear more. I want to do more for Krishna. I want to do service more. The internal energy will expand and will take all our time, which is taking us close to Krishna. Now let's bring external energy. What is that? Hey, I want to go to the library. I want to enjoy. I want to go to the movie. I want to go to the restaurant. I want to go to the pub. I want to work more. I want to earn more. Then external energy expands. And automatically, because now external energy expands, internal energy has to narrow down. And now you don't have a time to practice spirituality. Very amazing formula. I like that formula. Who's responsible? I am responsible. Where am I expanding the energy? Where I'm putting my more time? If I'm putting more time in internal energy in spiritual activities, that expands or that permeates my consciousness, that permeates my consciousness. How many of us have seen hogs or pigs, either in India or in America? How many of us have seen them? Okay, wonderful. Naresh Prabhu, you've seen pigs or
No, Prabhu, I didn't see pig, but I saw hawk.
okay, okay. Mataji, you have seen pigs?
Yeah.
Maybe in India, Kala Mataji, and then
Yes.
Puja
Yeah.
In
Mataji.
India, I saw, Prabhu. So
India
many.
and
India,
here.
you've seen, right?
India and here
Wonderful.
as well.
Yeah.
India everywhere. I saw.
Mataji, you've seen pigs?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes, in India they used to live close to the
Yes.
street.
Their very interesting identity they have, and they're easy to remember, is they eat something which everybody throws. Nobody wants to eat something which is so abominable, right? They Pig likes to eat that thing, right? Pig likes to eat that thing, and he likes to relish it when it is fresh. Unfortunately, birth after birth, we are trying to eat something which has been rejected by everyone, and we want to continue in that birth. That is the unfortunate thing we land up into. Prahlad Maharaj says that chewing the chewed, it is like you have a sugar cane. All of us must have, at least in childhood, have what do you call, biting the sugar cane, and you keep biting until the sugary aspect is gone, and it just doesn't. There's no water left. That's what we used to eat this sugar cane with, right? And then once it is not of use, you throw it. What Prahlad Maharaj is saying, you eat the one which you threw in the trash, and that is what we have been doing for many, many lifetimes. This is what is being spoken here, that those who worship me will live with me, and those who worship with devatas, they will stay here. We were discussing about the more we are bodily consciousness, we will continue be absorbed in the body, and we will be ready for the birth and death. So what we have to do is we have to expand the internal energy, and that will expand. If one has any desire to go to the moon, sun, or any other planet, one can attain the desired destination by following specific principles recommended for that purpose. Such is the process technically known as Darsha Purnamasha. There are vividly described in fruitive activities portion of the Veda which recommends a specific worship of demigods situated on different heavenly planets. Similarly, one can attend the Pitta planet by performing a specific yajna. Similarly, one can go to the many ghostly planet and become a yaksha, raksha, and pishacha. Pishacha worship is called as black arts or black magic. We know about that. There are many men who practice this black art and they think that it is spiritualism, but such activities are completely materialistic. Even on the name of spirituality, there are so many activities which we have been doing, at least I know back in India, they are completely mundane. Like tying a thread on the tree that I should get this desire fulfilled. I should get this girl as my girlfriend or my wife. All this is nonsense. Completely materialistic. Similarly, a pure devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead only achieves the planet of Vaikuntha and Krishna Loka without a doubt. So, what does that mean? We need to aspire to go there where Krishna is residing. If we don't develop that desire, we will not land up there. We will still continue here. My thermometer of my life is I should get less and less enjoyment from material things and more enjoyment from spiritual things. Today is Monday. Jayapataka Swami Maharaj came on Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it was so extremely amazing hearing him, associating with him, seeing how he is above bodily platform. And now when Monday comes, you feel fed up with it. Again the Monday came. Now this is not the same Monday which the other karmis have. Karmis is, oh, I wanted to enjoy, I enjoyed over the weekend, I did all obnoxious things and I want to continue that. That's a different one. That's a horrible thing. But when you have spiritual experiences and when you don't, when you are away from them, you feel, oh, I'm just missing the crux. And that is the experience we all should have. That, wow, what a wonderful retreat, what a wonderful spiritual experience. I wish I can continue for long. We should aspire for that. We should yearn for those activities. One devotee came from, many devotees actually drove from Toronto, 5 hours drive just to see Maharaj. Just to see Maharaj. Amazing. Why? Because they took give priority to Krishna. I want to associate with pure devotees of Krishna. So this devotee, there was another devotee who gave Sunday Srimad Bhagavatam class, and unfortunately I did not make it because I slept. I was doing some service in the house where Maharaj was staying, and I slept at like 1:30. So I woke up late next day. So I missed that. And when Prabhuji came, oh, you missed the most important part. What a wonderful Bhagavatam class he gave. And I feel like I should drown in Ganges because I missed such a wonderful Bhagavatam class. And then after that, Mataji was telling, oh, we will see you on Sunday feast. And I think someone was saying, Mataji was saying, if we are not in Sunday feast, either we are dead, we don't live on this earth, or we are somewhere in another planet or somewhere else. What does that mean is that devotee is experiencing the joy in Krishna consciousness and he doesn't want to feel being separated from Krishna. And that is why that person is eligible going back to Godhead. Like Janmashtami and Radhashtami. For Nayan Sundari to even stand up from the bed was like walking 1,000 miles. But she said, I want to go to the temple for Mangala Arati. I want to go there. I want to see the beautiful darshan of the Lord. I want to chant with devotees. So, because her desire to see Krishna was so strong, she went to Krishna's planet. If my desire is to enjoy the material world and enjoy the things and activities of this material world, I cannot go to spiritual world. I will keep coming here and rot here in the material world. That is what this verse is talking about. It is very easy to understand through this important verse that if by simply worshipping the demigods one can achieve the heavenly planets, or by worshipping the Pitas achieve the Pitta planets, or by practicing the black art achieve the ghostly planet, why can the pure devotion not achieve the planet of Krishna and Vishnu? Problem is not that the pure devotion is difficult. Problem is our desire to practice pure devotion is very minimal or not there. That is the problem. If I have a sincere desire, I want to practice pure devotion. Whether I become pure devotee or not, that's not my concern. Whether I'm practicing pure devotion or not, that is my concern. And when I'm practicing pure devotion, then I'm eligible to go back to Godhead. So problem is not that the pure devotion is difficult or pure devotion, I don't know how to practice. We all know what has to be done, but we don't want to do it. I'm told to chant minimum 60 notes, I can't do it. I'm told to hear Krishna Katha, I can't do it. I'm told to do Krishna conscious activities, I can't do it. I'm told to associate with devotees, sorry, I can't make it. Because I have my other appointment, I have to go to this show, I have to go to that show, but I don't have a time to associate with devotees. Sir, you stay here then. That is how Krishna is telling you, stay here. If you don't have a desire, why you want to make a mess out of it? So we lack desiring for something to be desired. Unfortunately, many people have no information of these sublime planets, but we all know it. This is the greatest unfortunate thing. I'm trying to remind myself. I know that the highest perfection is to go back to Godhead, but I don't want to practice. Why? Because I like to live here. where Krishna and Vishnu live. And because they do not know of them, they fall down. Even the impersonal fall down from Brahman Jyoti. The Krishna conscious movement is therefore distributing sublime information to the entire human society to the effect that simply chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can become perfect in this life and go back home back to Godhead. What is this verse talking about? You aspire where you want to go, you desire where you want to go, right? That is the whole idea. Any questions or comments here? Okay. 926. Patram pushpam phalam toyam
Patram pushpam phalam
Phalam
toyam
toyam
yo me bhaktya prayachati
yo
yo
me
me bhaktya prayachati
prayachati
tat aham bhakti upahartam
tadaham
tadaham
bhakti
bhakti upahartam
upahartam
ashnami prayatatmanaha.
asnami prayatatmanaha.
Very beautiful verse, very, very highly spoken about this verse. If one offers me with love and devotion, Krishna is saying, if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or a water, I will accept it. What is so wonderful about this verse is, if one offers me with love and devotion, you know what is the meaning of love? The meaning of love is not what I want to give to my lover. What my lover wants, I want to give that. Right? That is very important. Right? You want to do something which is very dear to the person whom I love, the object of love. That is love. We see, like, I know Mukund also has the t-shirt, I love Krishna. Or I used to wear the t-shirt, I love Krishna. What does I love Krishna mean? I love Krishna mean I want to love the activities where Krishna likes. What does Krishna likes? What is Krishna's devotees like? They want to talk about Krishna. They want to hear more about Krishna. They want to discuss about Krishna. We want to do the same activities. If we don't spend our time and energy doing that, unfortunately, we cannot land up there. We need to prioritize something which has to be prioritized. If our priorities are mundane activities or materialistic activities or bodily activities, then unfortunately we will not be able to get out of the bodily concept. Like I was mentioning about Jayapataka Swami Maharaj had a brain attack or something, which actually attacked his brain in such a place where even doctors cannot reach. He had so many transplants which I can't even count in the fingers. His body is almost paralyzed, but try to utilize whatever he has to preach about Krishna. That is why associating with such devotees help us to grow above the bodily platform, because they themselves are above the bodily platform. So it's very important to prioritize. When the sadhu comes, I don't want to miss a single opportunity to associate with them. There are many sannyasis going to come. There is another sannyasi who's going to come. All of us are here in Vaishnava group or Vaishnavi group. Is that right? Or temple announcement group where we get to know who is coming and when they are coming. Yes. So when we get notification about that, we keep an alarm. I don't want to miss this. I want to hear from this wonderful, greatest soul. We want to associate with that soul. When you give priority to Krishna and his devotees, Krishna gives you priority. I was just mentioning after Nayan Sudhi's departure. So she had Bhakti Vriksha on Thursday or Friday. It moved between Thursday or Friday. For some time it was on Friday and then it moved to Thursday. From 2008 to 2015, not a single Bhakti Vriksha she missed. 7 years of consistency. What does that mean? That I want to give priority to Krishna. And what did Krishna do? Krishna gave her the priority to take her to the spiritual world, right? For the intelligent person, it is essential to be Krishna consciousness, be in Krishna consciousness, engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord in order to achieve a permanent blissful abode of eternal happiness. We all are looking for happiness. Why do we want to eat different food? Because I like to experience that happiness. Why I want a specific model of the phone? Because I want to experience happiness. Why do I want a specific model of the car? Because I want to experience happiness. Why do I want a bigger house? Because I want to experience happiness. Why do I want a higher salary job? Because I want to be happy. Why I want to have be in relationship? Because I want to be happy. We all are looking for happiness, but that is temporary. But in the spiritual world, that happiness is eternal. It never finishes. The process of achieving such a marvelous result is very easy and can be attempted even by poorest of the poor without any kind of qualification. The only qualification required in this connection is to be a pure devotee of the Lord. It does not matter what one is where what one is or where one is situated. The process is so easy that even a leaf or little water or fruit can be offered to Supreme Lord in genuine love, and Lord will please to accept it. One time, Srila Prabhupada was there. This was in Juhu temple, the construction was going on. And one local worker who was constructing the temple, there was a truck. In India, there are many trees and they will have flowers. He plucked one flower, went to Prabhupada while Prabhupada was speaking, and he offered that flower to Srila Prabhupada. Local worker, he had no idea, he can't speak English or anything like that. He had a desire, he had a flower, not that he produced the flower, he bought it in the market. This was hanging on the tree. Anybody could offer. But he plucked that and gave it to Srila Prabhupada. What did Srila Prabhupada said? Just think, this person has actually attracted my heart by offering me a flower. If you offer flower to Krishna wouldn't with love, wouldn't he accept? Right? What we lack is we don't own anything. Everything belongs to Krishna. But we don't even put an effort to actually take it from Krishna's nature and offer to Krishna. Right? No one therefore can be barred from Krishna consciousness because it is so easy and universal. Who is such a fool that he does not want to be Krishna conscious? By this simple method, and thus attains the highest perfection, life of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. Krishna wants only loving service and nothing more. Krishna accepts even a little flower from his pure devotees. He does not want any kind of offering from a non devotee. He is not in the need of anything from anyone because he is self sufficient. He doesn't need anything. And yet he accepts the offering of his devotee in an exchange of love and affection. What is Krishna hungry for? Love and our devotion. If we do everything with love and devotion, it will automatically please Krishna. To develop Krishna consciousness is the highest perfection of life. Bhakti is mentioned twice in this verse in the order to declare more emphatically that bhakti or devotional service is the only means to approach Krishna. Right? Here, Lord Krishna, having established that he is the only enjoyer, the primeval Lord, and the real object of all sacrifice offering, reveals what type of sacrifice is desired to be purified. He doesn't ask for meat, fish, and eggs. He's clearly saying, I want fruits, milk, grains, and water. In the third chapter, 13, what Krishna says, only the remains of sacrifice are purified and fit for consumption by those who are seeking advancement in life, release from the clutches of material entanglement. Those who do not make an offering for their food, he says in the same verse, are eating only sin. When we do not offer anything to Krishna and eat directly ourselves, we are directly eating the sin. Right? But preparing nice, simple vegetable dishes, offering them before the deity of Lord Krishna, and bowing down and praying for him to accept such a humble offering, enable one to advance steadily in life, to purify the body, to create fine brain tissues which will lead to clear thinking. Above all, the offering should be made with an attitude of love. I want to do the best thing, I want to offer the best thing to Krishna. Right? Only the devotee who accepts Krishna as he describes himself without interpretation can understand that he is, that the supreme absolute truth can eat food and enjoy it. He's not impersonal. He's not like a person who cannot reciprocate. He is supreme person. He reciprocates with our devotion, with our loving devotion. Any questions or comments?
It's just a comment, Prabhu, not relating, not this one, at work. Like you mentioned about Mukunda, how, and then seeing him growing out to be a fine young man, playing mridanga tirelessly with that little body. Wow, what a amazing! And then that same way at work, this this employee has the different ethnic group, meaning they're African American.
Mm,
All along they grew up in there. So I don't know, somehow that in the culture, or I shouldn't say, or is that the way
mm,
it is? So she's got three children,
mm,
two boys and a girl.
mm,
So each one of them has a different father. It's a common mother.
mm.
And then one in jail, one robbed a bank.
Krishna.
So it's kind of a different, unfortunate story. So the mother is struggling to put them all together and then raise them. Okay, give them some good life. Okay,
Mm,
so but oh my God, that hatredness, that young boy, and the preteen. I mean, 13 is a big challenge in itself.
mm,
But then the 8-year-old have such a, what they call, I don't know, whatever, there was a psychological, 8 years old, he was diagnosed. I don't know how the society is going. So he's got some psychiatric problem or whatever. So
Hare
he's given a medication. So the medication effects wear out. He hates the child. He hates the younger sister.
mm,
So he will hurt her. So they cannot be together. The mom cannot leave them together with. They cannot be. He will hurt her. To so sometime when he gets angry, he will punch the wall to make a hole.
mm,
That much of an anger. So the mother, sometimes she has to leave the work and then go. Such an episode has happened. So I'm just wondering, okay, have you ever, at least, have you tried to join any spiritual group? I just didn't want to put,
mm,
any spiritual group or something. Said even she herself never grew up to be in the spiritual part of it, so she doesn't know herself.
mm,
And then she's got 3 children to raise. There's nowhere to go. How we all talk about here, we're coming to the temple, and then this one, still we talk about the problem, but then here, just wondering, wow, how can I help this person? How would she? It's such a struggle, yeah, in life. And then when I thought of, then at the same time, who came to my mind was Mukunda, same 8-year-old. He's 8, right?
9.
9. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so where there's totally no worldly struggle. I mean, this may be a different one, but this one here, compared to this, wow, what a fine young man he is, and then doing all the, and then you're a single parent, and then bringing up in a nice environment.
Mm.
How fortunate that is. Yeah.
Very wonderful point, Mataji. You know, the reality of the material world is there is unlimited suffering. We just get to know about some suffering because they come in contact with us.
Yeah.
To be
Hmm.
honest,
This is
otherwise,
one
there are
example.
so many people suffering,
Yes.
even more worse than what we just heard now,
Hmm.
right? This is just really chaotic, actually. Being in that situation, it's completely chaotic. We feel this world is a beautiful place to live in. Well, it's just because I haven't seen the real beauty of this world. Because when you really come across such people, it makes you develop that desire to get out of this material world. Or unfortunately, until we land up into that situation, we don't want to get out. I was hearing a interesting story, a very wonderful example. So there was this guy who was a boatman or shipman, whatever we call it at. So it happened saying that there was some storm came in the ocean and he was drifted away, and then he ended up into an island. He was just alone living in that island. Somehow he built a kind of a hut with whatever was there. He was staying there. For eating, he will go to the forest and whatever berries or fruits he will get, he would eat. One time, he went out near the ocean and figuring out something. From the distance, he saw his hut was burning. And this guy cried and he called out God. I'm somehow trying to tolerate whatever situation I am in. And the only last position I had was this hut where I was somehow staying at least. I was protected by whatever, if storm comes or whatever comes, the rain comes, I was at least sheltered. And that also you took away. And within few fraction of second he hears an aeroplane sound. And he's surprised, where is this aeroplane coming from? So then the aeroplane landed there. So this person who was this boatman or shipman asked this guy, hey, how did you find me out? He said, we were going in another ship and we saw there was something burning. We saw that hut was burning or it was on fire. So we noticed there may be someone who is stuck here. So we came to save you. What is the learning from this story? This person thought it's the worst thing whatever is happening in my life. I lost my last position. But actually that last position which he lost was a key for him to get out of that miserable situation. Right? Sometimes two aspects to that. Sometimes we want our life to be chaotic so that we become sincere. At least I'll talk about myself. We don't want to land up there. But unfortunately, we have to land up there because I'm not taking my Krishna consciousness seriously otherwise. So you land up in that situation and you lose the last position you have. And when we start thinking about it, man, I just lost everything. And now when you have only shelter is to take Krishna's shelter, at that time you see his reciprocation. Draupadi. Who was she? She was the wife of the kings actually. They were supposed to be the real king. How much she went through. I'll tell you some of these stories not even being covered in Mahabharata. You will be shocked to hear those stories. Oh, really? Even in those times? I'll share you one story. I literally had tears in my eyes. While Draupadi was in that, they were sent to the forest, right, for certain years in incognito. So she was living like a maid servant of the kingdom of Kichaks. The king name was Kichak. and he saw Draupadi. He told his sister, I want to enjoy her. She said, hey, she clearly told me that she doesn't like all that stuff. Well, you do one thing. You arrange for her to come to me and then take care of the rest. So she came, and this guy tries to molest her. And that time somehow she gets away with from him, and she goes to Pandavas. This is thing what had happened. So this guy actually hit her very badly. She was bleeding all over. And then Bhima got to see this. And other Pandavas did not do anything, but Bhima dressed himself like a Draupadi and invited him so that you can come to enjoy kind of him or her, whatever you call it as. Because if other people get to know that this guy killed, and then the Duryodhana will get to know, and their incognito will be this, and they will have to go for another this time, right? So Bhima invited him, and the moment this guy touched, realized, hey, this hand doesn't look like a woman hand, and Bhima breaks him left and right. Anyway, Duryodhana somehow still gets to know it and all that stuff. I don't want to get there. Why I came to this story? If you see the example of Draupadi, Krishna, unlimited challenges, I'll tell you. Unlimited challenges. And to a certain extent, where she's being disrobed in front of the assembly public. Unless, and then she tried taking shelter of so many great people there. She couldn't get shelter. Finally, when she surrendered to Krishna, she got the shelter. Why I'm sharing this example? This life is full of miseries. This life is full of challenges. We don't want to practice spirituality at the surface level so that we have to actually see the worst and become Krishna conscious that way. At least I went through that route, so I would not suggest you going that route. Because when you are in a pain, when you are in unlimited suffering, it is very difficult. It is not an easy peasy job. I am sitting on the chair and I can hear Krishna Katha wonderfully, having nice lunch, nice prasad or whatever it is. Doesn't happen like that. That is what my realization is, Mataji, based on the story you mentioned. But two things which you can do for her. Whenever you go in front of the Lord, pray for her. And if at all you get to give her something, give her Mahaprasad. Whenever you get to see her, just give her Mahaprasad. At least her bhakti account will open. Maybe in this life, maybe next lifetime, but that will somehow fructify, and she'll come back to devotion rather than not offering her something. So that is what this verse is talking about. Because that food which is offered to Krishna is offered with love and devotion. If someone eats that, he will also get those qualities. Make sense, Manaji? Wonderful. Any other final comments? I know I'm 7 minutes over time, but just want to check if we have final comments before we end. Okay, looks like we are all set. Um, Monday I will be in Dallas. The coming Monday, I'll try to give the class from there, provided you all want to be there in the class. Um, so that's what I just want to let you know. Thank you so much. Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Babaji, are you going to Sadhu Sangha?
Yes, Mataji, I'm going for Sadhu Sangha, Krishna willing.
Oh, that's where all the sadhus meet. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It's condensed nectar for 3 days, Friday, Saturday,
Okay.
Sunday, and Monday half day. Just holy name. That's it.
Mm. Are you taking the family with you too?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Take
Very nice.
take
Yeah.
care, devotees.
Okay.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Wonderful
I'll
time.
try to do it next. Thank you, Mataji. I'll try to do it next Monday. I'll do it from the hotel.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank
that's
you
where
so
you're
much.